Hi. Daily living with chronic illness. It's not easy. I know that. Many of you know that, or a lot of you know that. For me, it's like a roller coaster ride and has been. I think I mentioned my late 20s when my autoimmune, or what they called mixed connective tissue disease, started. And my early years when my IBS started, and also my tachycardia. So it was never an easy ride through my 30s and 40s. I had some great years. I mean, I was lucky enough to have years where things were not happening that were uh, debilitating, where I had to stay home. I mean, there were times when I was so fatigued, I would just call in for a sick day and I would sleep the whole day. I didn't know why at that time. I didn't realize it was connected with everything that was going on with my body. But yes, I had a roller coaster ride. I went through a period of time where my sinuses were so bad, my eyes were always infected, they were red. I actually have scarring around the blue of my eyes that you can see. I can see readily, but with a flashlight, everybody else can see it. And had it progressed further, I into the black area, I would have been blind in that part. But fortunately, knock on wood, that never happened, and it stopped where it was. But for years, I couldn't. The sun would just blind me at times. It was off and on, and it was just. I went to work, but sometimes, I'll be honest, I couldn't see the road well because the sun was just too much for my eyes and my sinuses. So it was tough times. Also, I went through a period where there was a time where I had inflammation, I guess, of the lungs, suddenly shortness of breath, not just for walking in my apartment because that was not that far, but one day when I went to take the laundry, and I think I mentioned this before, to the laundry facility, I walked down my stairs and I got out into the outside to walk to the laundry facility, and I had to stop because I was short of breath, and I was never short of breath. I even though I smoked at the time, I always worked out. I was very active in working out when I felt good because I thought that really was the key to keeping things at bay. But I was short of breath, and it scared the what out of me. And I went to the doctor, and my lungs were inflamed, and I was on prednisone for 3 months. So it was never. Sometimes it was so bad I couldn't go to work, but usually I did. And usually I was able to push through it, smile, the happy smile, and do my work. For some reason, my work really helped me take my mind off of some of my pain or my illness. Sometimes, though, it was unbearable, and I couldn't function well. But that's the way it was, up and down, with the mixed connective tissue. I also got lumps underneath the skin of my thighs that turned bright red. They hurt like a son of a gun. And they called it erythema nodosum, which is part of vascular. But they stayed there for a good 10 or more years. It is considered sometimes a symptom of scleroderma. So I would get different symptoms, I think I mentioned before, off and on, of different connective tissue diseases, but thank God I did not get the full disease. Like I was never hit with the total lupus. Maybe I would get a symptom of lupus or a symptom of scleroderma, or I did get rheumatoid arthritis for 2 weeks. I registered for it, and it was painful. It was really painful. I had to crawl around on the floor to get to the phone. So yeah, it was not an easy ride. Daily living with chronic illness is like you wake up and you think, well, what is it going to be today? Am I going to feel good? Am I going to be okay? But like I said, there were periods of time where I was. There were years where I was okay. I mean, I may have had the lumps underneath my legs that were hurting, but I continued to exercise. I continued to do it. And I continued to go out and move around. But I was younger also. So I could push through it better. I did get really sick with H. pylori. And that one, somebody did say I looked like death warmed over. So I guess I wasn't doing too well on that. And it took them, believe it or not, 3 months to diagnose it. I went to doctor after doctor. Oh, no. I can't see anything wrong with your stomach. I was so sick with that. So sick. And finally, one day, emergency room. I went to the emergency room. And the emergency room doctor said, I think I know what it is. Took an x-ray, came back. You have H. pylori. Gave me the medicine, and I was fine. It took him 3 months. Amazed me. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, with the IBS would flare up at times, and I would be sick. I'd feel sick. I couldn't eat certain things, but nothing ever lasted so long during my 30s and 40s that I was, debilitated. I was down, but I wasn't out. It wasn't until later in life and in my 50s that I really got hit. But even not being down and out, I would get depression when I was sick. If I didn't feel well, it was easy for me to get depressed. On antibiotics, I have a habit of getting depressed. I don't know why, just a chemical reaction. But I think the depression and illness came because it was a part of my mother died when I was 8. And I think that always stuck with me. And there was always that fear when I would get sick, even though, because they didn't always know what it was. Mixed connective tissue was like a known factor. It's not that they knew about it, but it was really hard to diagnose. So it took a long time for them to do it. And a lot of times, it was a pat on the head. Oh, you have anxiety. Yeah, I know that, but that doesn't mean that anxiety is causing me to feel this way. And that was a big hurdle to overcome, I think, for women especially. Men too, probably. I haven't heard from men about it, and I would love to hear. But, if you have anxiety, sometimes I think that's stamped on your head too. And they just assume. So what I'm trying to say is it's really hard sometimes. And I want to go in more in depth in my 50s, because that was that has been and still is a really hard time, where I do wake up every morning and I just don't know how I'm going to feel. Or in the night I may feel sick and in pain. I fell off the couch and it hurt my back. So we just add that to the list. But so many people, I know from reading different posts, etc., their chronic illness, I didn't even know there were so many chronic illnesses, and it's mind-boggling. It really is. But we are a community of people that we can identify with each other, I think, because we understand each other to, to the point of chronic illness. We may not know each person's illness and how that feels for them, but we know that we all have chronic illness as a community, and we all know, and we support each other. No one feels what we feel unless they have it. And that's the bottom line. But yes, I will be doing more videos. I want to do a video on heart disease, that's chronic illness, lymphedema, which is, I don't see a lot about. I have it. I don't see a lot about it. Lymphedema, more about vasculitis, which is wow, a lot of people have that. And there's so many chronic illnesses. 133 million Americans have chronic illness, and it's just mind-boggling to me. So my daily living right now is tough. I don't know what I'm going to be like from day to day. I really don't. And sometimes it upsets me and it depresses me sometimes. And I look back to when I was, okay, to the good times. And I think, why can't it be like that now? But it can't. I have to accept the way it is now. I just have to. And it's one of the hardest things I've ever done. So anyway, I hope that you subscribe, because I will continue these videos. And I hope you subscribe. And sometimes I get a little off track. And well, not off track, but I did a cooking one, made my key lime pie, or what it's like to be gluten and dairy intolerant or chronic illness during the holidays. But I will be doing more of that, and I really hope that you comment or that you subscribe, and I would be overjoyed to have you do that. I also have, you can see it on my banner, on my channel. I have an Instagram account you can click on to, and I also have a Facebook page, and both of them are through Sue's Eyes. So if you just click on it, it'll go right to it. So until I talk to you next time, again, in another video, I hope things go well for you today. Take care.